You know how they say a house has its own sounds? The hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floorboard near the sink, and the soft sigh of the wind against the window pane? After my son, David, left, the only sound I could hear was the echo of the front door closing. It wasn't a slam, it was worse. It was a soft, final click. A sound so quiet, it screamed. He thought I was asleep. He thought he was slipping away without a scene. I stood at the top of the stairs, my hand pressed against the cold wall, holding my breath. I listened to the rustle of his jacket, the faint jingle of his keys, and that click. And then nothing, just the empty sound of a house that had lost its heartbeat. I never called out. I never ran down the stairs. I just stood there. And in that silence, I made a choice. I would let him go. Because I knew why he was leaving, and I knew it was my fault. David was my youngest, my quiet boy. While his sister was all laughter and loud stories, David was observant. He watched. He felt things deeply, but he kept them tucked away, like precious stones in a velvet pouch. His father passed when David was 10, and I think he felt he had to be the man of the house too soon. He'd watch me pay the bills, his little brow furrowed. He'd fix a leaky faucet with more determination than a grown man. Our life was simple. Mornings were for the smell of toast and coffee. Evenings were for the soft glow of the lamp in the living room, him doing his homework and me mending clothes. We didn't need many words. A smile across the table was a conversation. A pat on the shoulder was an "I love you." Then he met Chloe. She was like a burst of color into our sepia-toned world, bright, opinionated, and full of life. She laughed easily, and when she did, David's whole face would light up. I was happy for him. Truly, I was. But a small, selfish part of me tightened into a knot. I saw the way she linked her arm through his, claiming him. I saw the future stretching out in front of them, a wide, open road, and I was just a fading signpost in the rearview mirror. After the wedding, the distance didn't just grow, it settled in, like dust on the furniture in his old room. His calls became shorter. "Just checking in, Mom. Busy at work. Yeah, everything's good." Our conversations were like reading a headline, not the full story. The first time they came for Sunday dinner, the air was different. Chloe rearranged the flowers I'd put on the table. She talked about minimalist aesthetics and decluttering your life. I just smiled and nodded, my hands buried in the dough for the rolls David loved. My rolls. I'd try to hold on to him with food. "Take some stew home," I'd say, pressing the container into his hands. I made extra. He'd take it, but his smile was tight. "You don't have to, Mom. Chloe's into meal prepping." One afternoon, I was telling a story about his father. A silly story about the time he tried to build a bookshelf and it collapsed. I was laughing, hoping to hear his laugh too, but Chloe cut in. "The past can be such a heavy weight, can't it? It's important to look forward." He didn't say anything. He just looked down at his hands. That's when I felt it, the first real crack. I wasn't just losing my son, I was being erased. My stories, my love, my food, it was all becoming part of a heavy weight. The invitations to their new, sleek apartment stopped. My calls often went to voicemail. The silence in my house grew louder. The big argument happened over the phone. It was about Christmas. Chloe's parents were flying in and they wanted a just us holiday. David was telling me this, his voice strained. "It's just easier, Mom, logistically." I couldn't hold it in anymore. The loneliness, the feeling of being replaced, it all spilled out. "Easier?" I heard my voice, sharp and brittle. "Since when is family about what's easy? I am your mother. This is your home." There was a silence on the other end. Then I heard Chloe's voice in the background, clear as ice. "David, we talked about this. The guilt trips. It's not healthy." And he, my quiet, gentle boy, he sighed. A sigh of pure exhaustion. "Mom, please don't make this harder. I have to go." He hung up. And in that moment, I wasn't his mother anymore. I was a problem to be managed, a difficulty. That was the week before he left. He came over that final morning, his face pale. He said he needed to pick up some old books. He moved through the house like a ghost, not touching anything. I made him tea the way he used to like it, with a spoonful of honey. He didn't touch it. I pretended to be busy in the kitchen. I was scrubbing a spotless counter, my heart pounding in my ears. I heard his footsteps pause outside his old bedroom. I knew what he was doing. A few days before, when I was dusting in there, I found it, a small box tucked deep in the back of his closet. Inside were childhood treasures. It was a stack of my own letters to him from his first year at college. And tucked between them was a small folded piece of paper in his handwriting. It was a list, a pro and con list. The heading broke my heart. How to be a good husband. On one side, make Chloe feel secure, build a future together, put our new family first. On the other, just one terrible line. Stop feeling guilty about mom. He had drawn a heavy, dark circle around that one line, as if he was trying to trap the feeling, to contain it and lock it away. I put the box back exactly as I found it. I never said a word. So when I heard him open that closet door that morning, I knew. I knew he was retrieving that box. I knew he was taking his guilt with him, hoping to finally leave it behind. He left, the door clicked, and I stayed in the kitchen, my hands now still in the sink. The steam from his untouched tea rose to the ceiling, a ghost of the warmth we'd lost. I never told him I knew. What would I have said? That I saw the prison he had built for himself, with bars made of his love for me and his duty to her? My silence that morning was my final gift to him. It was my way of saying, you are free. I release you. The love of a child is a loan, I think. You pour your whole heart into them, and one day they have to take that heart and walk into their own life. The truest love is to let them go without making them feel the weight of the chain. He calls now, sometimes. The conversations are still a little careful, a little fragile, but they are conversations. He's trying to find his way back on his own terms. And I am here, in this house, with its familiar sounds, waiting. Not with expectation, but with a quiet hope. Because I finally understand. Letting go isn't about loss. It's about making space for a different kind of love to find its way back home.